and recorded. For those viewing by live stream, they are not counted as being in attendance, nor can they actively participate. As a reminder, according to the Southeast Texas Region Commission bylaws, Article 3, any member of the Southeast Texas Region Planning Commission whose careers induced cannot vote until the pay. Also, if you do need to speak, please state your name. If you're a member of the public and would like to address an item on the agenda, once you are recognized, you may speak up to 3 minutes regarding that item. At this time, we'll begin with the roll call in order to establish the form.
And if at the end of the time I call these names, I miss somebody, please let me know. Thank y'all for being here. We're proud today. Hardin County, we have Commissioner Ernie Cook. Jasper County, County Judge Mark Allen, Commissioner Dennis Mark, and Commissioner Seth Martindale, Commissioner Willie Stark. Jefferson County, we have Commissioner Brandon Willis and Commissioner Kerry Erickson. Orange County, Commissioner Kirk Rockefeller and Commissioner Johnny Trahan. From the city of Beaumont, Councilmember Chris Durio. Bevel Oaks, Councilmember Jim Wright. Bridge City, Councilmember Aaron Rockefeller. Nederland, Mayor Jeff Darby. Pine Forest, we have someone new here today, Councilmember Deanna Smith. I have her with us today. And from the city of Sylvie, Mayor Pro Tem William Bath, who is also, this is his first meeting today. From West Orange, we have Mayor Randy Branch and Councilmember Jay Odom. Jasper Hospital District Director Laura Moore. Jefferson County Drainage District number 6, Josh Allen Sr. Lower Neches Valley Authority, Lisa King. We do have a quorum and I have a few other guests to introduce. We have from U.S. Congressman Randy Weber's office, Mr. Blake Hopper. With State Senator Robert Nichols, Ms. Jennifer Harris. And for the first time here, we have for Representative Janice Holt, Ms. Dana Hancock. Caitlin Addington's our SVP fellow. I think you met her before. We have Ms. Kim Klein, who's an officer. She's the executive director of the Red Cross. And Dr. Brian Williams with Lamar University and Devon Williams, who's the deputy CBG director and assistant to the city manager for the city of. Did I miss anyone? Angel McCroskey. I didn't see you come in. Yes, ma'am. City of Jasper. Great. I know you know. Okay. Angel McCroskey. And Amanda Gates from Kirbyville.
And that is all.
And did I say, Walker Plain, Jasper?
Don't. Go Fields.
Oh, my God. Bad rep.
All right, so then, we done? Okay, all right, thank you very much. With that, we'll, everyone please stand. We'll be led in prayer by Mayor Randy Branch and Judge Mark Allen will do the pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for today and each and every day that you bring to us. We pray for your blessing, Father, upon the food that we've consumed. We pray for your blessings upon our hearts and our minds, that we are able to be the servants you call us to be, filled with your wisdom, so that we were able to walk in your world, your way, doing things under your will. Gracious God, we pray for this meeting, all that we do today, all the actions that we take, may they be blessed in the future. Ask these things, pray these blessings, seek guidance and safety and travel as well. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mayor Branch. Thank you, Judge Allen. Appreciate that. With that, we'll move on to agenda item number 4. Approval of the July 16th, 2025 executive committee meeting minutes. Those should have been emailed to you, so I have a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Judge. Second. Commissioner. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, with that, we'll also move down to the, agenda item number 5, approval of the treasury report for June 2025 and approval of the investment report for, ending June 30th, 2025. And I suppose we will do those one at a time. So we'll first, seeking a motion for the approval of the treasury report for June 2025.
So moved. Second.
And a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Approval of investment report for quarter ending June 30th, 2025. I have a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? With that, we'll move to agenda item number 6, administration, the 2028 Natchez and Sabine Regional Plus Plan input. It's an information item presented by Ms. Shannon Burke.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next two items in your packet, one you'll see a blue highlight and one is a yellow highlight. Flood planning is currently underway via the Texas Water Development Board. We'll hear more about that process here in just a second. And right now there are opportunities available to identify trouble spots in your communities. And you can do that through these QR codes that are listed on these pages. So again, there's one for the Natchez Regional Flood Plan and one for the Sabine. You just scan this code in, it'll take you exactly where you need to go. And you can actually go in and drop pins on where there's areas of flooding in your region that will help develop this study. And so attached to that, we have two guests today. Cheryl Ray, who's in the front row, who's from Gary Traylor and Associates. And this is Rolando Ayala, who is with Bruce and Nichols. They're involved in this study. And Rolando is going to give us some more information on everything that's going on. And there are also, before you get started, there's also a handout that includes his slides that's in your packet as well.
Thank you all for having me. I think we're here in 2023, the last time we gave an update, but we've started a new planning cycle, so it's time for another update. And I want to say thanks to Risa. She's LNBA's local sponsor for the Natchez Regional Flood Plan, so glad to be here. So we are in the middle of the second cycle. And today I'm going to give a very brief presentation. I would encourage you all to be active in planning group meetings. There's elevations about every month or every other month. And I'm going to be focusing on the Natchez and Sabine regions, obviously local to this area.
Let me add one thing. I also want to put a big thanks out to the Sabine River Authority because they sponsor this space.
Yes, sir. I've heard some familiar names. Matt, there's the PM on the Sabine region. He's not able to make it today, but I do have his contact information. So I'm going to give some key takeaways from the 2023 regional flood plan. I'm going to get everyone up to speed, kind of some of the changes that have happened for the 2028 cycle. And then the big piece is we're going to talk about the mitigation actions that were identified in the first cycle and how that ties into funding need from the area, because that's the whole kind of intent of this. And basically, we're going to need the door to funding for communities down here in Southeast Texas. All right, so when asked why is the state doing flood planning? Texas is no stranger to a lot of natural disasters, particularly hurricanes and flood-related disasters. So after Hurricane Harvey, there was kind of this, renewed emphasis on resiliency and figuring out what can we do on the planning side to kind of help protect our communities, make them more resilient. These are just some numbers related to Hurricane Harvey. Obviously, a lot of damage, 143.8 billion across the state, and then obviously much of that in Southeast Texas. In terms of flood planning, it's through Texas Water Development Board. For those of you familiar with water planning, it's kind of the same thing. That's where it actually kind of spun off from. There's 15 planning regions. Those are all based on river basins, so not any jurisdictional boundaries. And the whole intent is to make this a bottom-up process. So it's supposed to be driven from stakeholders and folks within the region that would, do studies, need, projects done for flood mitigation. So it's really supposed to be from A, the public, and then B, the stakeholders that kind of feed this information into the plan. There is a public process, so we have meetings monthly or every other month. Public participation is appreciated. I would say, again, kind of encourage you all to attend the meetings. There's a virtual option too, so those that can attend in person, at least call in, so you all kind of know what's going on. It is a long planning cycle. So we understand, it's hard to be engaged, but the big piece that I'm trying to drive home today is we need to know the needs of the communities, particularly if there's studies needed, if there's projects that need funding, just so on and so forth. And all of that really rolls into the state flood plan, and it provides the state an idea of the total need in terms of flood-related activities for the entire state, but also the natures of the Sabine. And I'll kind of highlight some of the needs from the first cycle here in a little bit. If you boil down the regional flood plans, there's sort of three main objectives. It's to collect data. That data involves a whole bunch of stuff. It can go as far down as storm sewer information from municipalities, and that's supposed to be provided through the planning groups. Critical facility structure information. And the cool thing is all of this is available online through Texas Water Development Board. There's this data hub online that houses all this information for all 15 planning group regions. So everybody across the entire state is working with uniform data. So, everybody's kind of comparing apples to apples in terms of the need, right? That's the whole big piece here. The other big piece is identifying risk, flood risk. So that's identified from a variety of different sources. That could be FEMA floodplain maps. We all know those are kind of outdated depending on the community you're from. Recent flood studies. And then the board has actually partnered with some folks to identify risk across the entire state, and they have their own directives, base level engineering, that's getting back into the flood planning cycle. The cool thing about this, so we highlighted, the 100 and the 500 year risk, but this second cycle is going to also include the 10-year floodplains. So that's really helpful because that's kind of more of the stuff that we see more often than not with some of the brain events that we get down here. The other big piece is recommending actions. Those actions can be floodplain management actions. There's goals that the planning group kind of establishes for the region just based on input. But the other thing too is, what studies need to be done, what projects need funding, things like that. So that whole intent, this is an ongoing cycle that happens every 5 years. And basically, as you kind of move further and further along in the flood planning cycles, the idea is that you kind of leverage information from the previous cycle, make it better. Like I said, we're adding the 10-year flood risk to the second cycle, right? And then the other thing is hopefully projects that are included in the previous flood plan get funding, projects start getting built. So we start kind of getting an idea as to how the needles move in terms of flood mitigation activities or new studies that have been done. These are all the tasks. These tasks are uniform across all 15 planning regions. The two in bold, task 4 and 5, are kind of thing I want to talk to you all about today. It's the needs, right? The whole thing is to capture the needs of the community and roll that up to the region and then ultimately put it in the state flood plan. Some key changes here. I mentioned data collection effort. So stormwater infrastructure. As part of the second cycle, there's actually, we're going to try to assess the condition and the functionality of these features based on some of the input and some of the guidelines that the board has provided. Task 2, again, the 10 year is going to be added for that flood risk. The other thing I want to make sure is these aren't regulatory floodplain maps. It's just information available to planners, stakeholders, the community, just so that they're aware of the risk that exists out here. It's up to communities what they want to enforce to in terms of regulatory maps. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And identifying the needs is kind of task 4, recommending those needs. This second cycle is going to build upon one thing. There's actually going to be modeling efforts done both from the state, Texas Water Development Board, and all 15 flood planning regions, certain tasks and budgets allocated for that effort. So as part of kind of our needs analysis, and I'll highlight some things here shortly, we're actually going to do studies to try to come up with hey, does the risk need to be better defined here? There hasn't been a study done. Southeast Texas has been fortunate to have a lot of funding that's going towards that right now. So, it's a big river basin, so we'll have to look at it across the entire state. And then, the other thing too is, we amended the regional flood plans in April 2025, just to try to include some additional actions open for funding for stakeholders. Task for flood mitigation needs, like I said, figure out where the needs are in terms of where infrastructure needs to be put, where studies need to be done, and then kind of tie that into actions. And that will fit into planning. So just kind of high level, I'm going to cover NHS Sabine. Red highlights the biggest need. Those are around urban centers. Obviously, Southeast Texas has a huge need, right? So this kind of helps us identify, hey, where do we need to focus studies, and where do we need to come up with solutions that try to help alleviate some of the in the areas. Similar thing with the Sabine Regional Flood Plan. And then all of this basically equates to what studies need to be done, what strategies need to be implemented, what projects need to have funding, right? These are all recommended, included in the flood plan. I'll highlight some of the dollar figures. It's pretty astounding, the actual need between the NHS and the Sabine, but I don't think that's any news to the folks in this room. Not to throw everyone kind of with this jargon, but basically, an FME is a study, an FMP is a project, an S is a strategy. Basically, is it public, information so folks are aware of the flooding that exists, just different types of strategies in terms of trying to reduce it. So it's not an actual study or a project. It's just, hey, how can we better inform folks? What can we do as stakeholders and elected officials to kind of help minimize some of that risk? So the state flood plan from the first cycle is out there. It's on the board's website, but all of this for the second cycle is going to roll on to the 2029 state flood plan. And basically that opens the door to funding through Texas Water Development Board. So if we want or need projects that have, funding needs, it needs to be included in the regional flood plans to be available. Fortunately, if you are not included in the regional flood plans, then that door is ultimately closed. So it's very important that you all at least get your, needs in there. Work with Trailer. I know they're down there quite a bit, working with various other grant opportunities, but at least try to get it in the plan so that you have another avenue to explore.
Might need to repeat that again. If it's not in the plan, it's not getting funded. So you need to get out there and make sure you got all our projects in the plan so we can get the funding. And you see these river basins go all the way north. Everybody's competing for these same dollars. So we need to get our stuff.
That's a very good point. Yeah. So ultimately, all of this rolls into the state flood plan. There is a system based on various metrics that are evaluated at the regional level. Again, we're all using the same data set. And then the board kind of ranks these projects. That opens the door to funding. They invite set number of people to the FIF fund a bridge applications, depending on funding that's allocated from state legislature. We obviously just went through that. But again, the big piece is at least open the door to be included in this process. In terms of NHS and Sabine from the first cycle, there's 375 actions included in the NHS flood planning region and 335 actions in the CE. That equates to 6.9 billion, whether it's in studies or projects. Obviously, the coastal project, huge dollar amount, right? So that's why that number is so big. Same with Sabine, $4 billion. These are also kind of some metrics that are interesting. I'm not going to read them to y'all during the packet today, but you can see these metrics all across the entire state of Texas for each of the 15 planning regions. So it's pretty cool. I encourage you all to go to the board's website and I'll look at the information they have. All the stuff that was done from the first cycle, publicly available, open to all of y'all elected officials, public. In terms of even the risk, if y'all are saying everybody says, yeah, these FEMA flood maps aren't right? So go to the board website and at least look at some of that information and form some of the decisions being made. In terms of the cycle, I said state flood plan, September 2029. We're obviously kind of more than halfway through 2025. 2029 is the state flood plan, but got a long process. We're actually working on a tech memo that's due to the board of January 2026. There's certain things that we have to accomplish by then in draft form. This is an ongoing process, so there's ample time for public input. We're gonna have public meetings throughout the entire basin to show where the risk is, ask, hey, are there areas that aren't captured that flood a lot? Let's include that as a flood prone area, so on and so forth. Then the draft will be made available in 2027. Those are held at public places. Y'all can read the draft. It's a pretty bulky document. I'll just say, kind of, if you don't want to go through the documents, attend the planning group meetings and they'll give you a highlight. This QR code is different than the one that's in the all packet. This takes you to the Texas Water Development Board's website that has all the regional flood planning information for all 15 planning regions. If y'all are interested outside of the Sabine and Neches planning regions, but encourage y'all just to kind of look and see what's going on. Obviously, there's been a lot of conversation after the July flood events in Central Texas, but it's a big opportunity for stakeholders in the room to be involved in this process. And again, the funding piece is just probably the most critical, I would say, for everyone here. That on me, but. Just for contact information, I'm Rolando Ayala. I'm working on the Neches regional FLNJ. Matt LeClaire is working with Green River Authority, and then Cheryl Ray's actually on both teams. He knows a lot of the folks down here. We work with y'all on grant applications. So I think it's to try to get all that need incorporated into the footprint every morning in the first cycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Rolando. Appreciate it.
On behalf of LMBA, I know there's a lot of technical information that's in there, and it is a lot and it can be overwhelming, but participating in the project and getting some time with Freeze and with Trailer gives you the opportunity to have someone kind of step you through, going through, dropping those pins on the map and everything. And don't be fooled. Just because this is technical does not mean that all of our elected officials can't take this data and humanize it, translate it out of engineering language. It's cumbersome, so you could. And then give it to your individual constituents and stakeholders. There's a lot to be said for that. And there's a ton of information in there because there's no shortage of information. There's just a block in the flow out.
I've had a couple of, I've got a question maybe for the group, maybe for you, I don't know, but I got an email the other day from an interested constituent who was talking about, and one of the judges may have to, didn't y'all have a group of judges that got together? I thought Judge Brannick and Fred Jackson were in that, and y'all were meeting for a while, and now it's determined that it's not gonna continue. What's the difference? What's the difference between this and what they were doing? Cause it's all focused on planning, and I came to the game late, so forgive me for not knowing, but maybe somebody here knows, what we're doing with that now.
After Harvey, what we did was, first we met in Jasper. We had a little quick meeting with at the annex with Congressman Babin, I think Congressman Weber. We had all of our state contingents, Senator Nichols, I think Dave Phelan before he was speaker, Representative James White. We got together, and that was kind of an initial formation because we all realized we had to do something. Harvey woke a lot of people up. They needed to. So then we formed a flood control district, Southeast Texas Regional Flood Control District, something like that. And we've been moving on with that. Well, the state has taken over a lot of that through their own program and agencies now. So there is some discussion about, do we still need that program at the regional level? It might be good to have a voice, but I think there's some determinations. They were supposed to have a meeting this week. Several of us couldn't make it. I don't think they had a quorum because a lot of people had different things going on, but I think they were looking at wanting to rehash it again in October and talk about it. But it's a good way because you've got everybody, your northern counties, Jasper, Newton County coming through, the water's coming through on the Neches and the Sabine and the Angelina flowing down. And it's affecting Orange, Jefferson, and Hardin. And, the old days, they used to make jokes, flush twice, Orange needs the water. That's a joke. But it's
Orange County don't fall in the Gulf, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but it's a good thing, and it's a good thing to have the discussions to figure out how we can try to mitigate this. And a lot of the grant funding that we received over these past few years has really kind of helped. The data we pulled together has kind of helped us to be able to get that. So that's a key.
I just didn't know if that was gonna get ongoing, if it was a duplication of effort or,
That's what we're looking at.
consolidation or
It was
whatever.
kind of, to me, it was kind of the forerunner of what they're doing now. They were
Okay.
doing that before this, and this kind of came in and took over.
So the other thing is, I think a lot of people out there in the public feel like, all this money's been appropriated by the legislature to do this, that, and the other thing. They need to realize study is going on till 2029. I don't know of there's not any projects that are underway, are there? Or are there some projects?
We
Yeah.
have some projects.
Yeah, so,
From, as a result of this data collection?
so this is the second cycle. The
Okay.
first cycle, there's projects that are going through the FIF application to basically open the door for funding for projects that were identified in the regional and state flood plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
The drainage district has projects in there, and we're funding $8.5 million through a grant for Freeze and Nichols to do the regional study.
Yeah, but again, I want people to understand, they're funding studies, and I understand that nothing happens overnight, but the public needs to understand that nothing happens
We
overnight.
we do have some projects that are under construction as well. They're starting construction. So there's,
Are those listed on this Water Development Board
yeah.
website?
Yeah, so there's a chapter within each of the regional flood plans of ongoing flood mitigation projects. It's the first chapter. It kind of describes the entire river basin and includes ongoing projects. And the other thing too, there's a study component on the second cycle. But the idea is to capture all the data, all the information that exists within the entire river basin and have it in one spot so everybody kind of knows, hey, what's going on across the entire planning region, right? Because it's kind of hard. There's a lot of efforts, and you're not wrong in the sense of there's been a lot of studies. The idea is, moving those studies into projects.
Into action. And really, I think I know where some of that is, but it's hard to get that to constituents, whether, hey, call the drainage district. Hey, I don't want to pass that buck. I want to be able to point them somewhere. And if this is the place I need to point them, that's fine.
Well, each flood planning group has a local sponsor and they have their own website. They have their individual meetings. Your first question regarding the flood control group, there are they serve two different purposes. This is a planning purpose for gathering data and stuff. You don't want to completely eliminate your counties meeting together, especially in preparation and follow up after a disaster, because that level of coordination is not going to be handled according to your needs here at the state level. So you don't let go too quick and too fast, because you'll lose that opportunity and you'll lose that regional focus.
No, you're
right?
exactly right, because Austin's already trying to take everything in the state and move it up there, and that's the wrong way to do things to begin with.
And it's worth noting, and it probably was said very well at the outset of the first planning cycle, all of these plans have a directive. They cannot negatively impact anything downstream from them. So everything is done with that in mind. We're not flushing twice. I live in Orange County.
I promise we're not.
But there is, and you're right, it's.
I don't know why we said that.
Entity to make that connection with the public. And it's hard because this data, I was just on, a data set. It was the GLO's data set. Tons of information, and it's rocking along right alongside parallel. And then here recently, in the last year or so, CWDB and GLO have managed to communicate, join forces and work together. But if I look at that, I don't know what a polygon set is. I'm not an engineer. I don't know. I spent the last
I
5
just
years.
know their neighborhood.
I know, but
I just know their neighborhood floods.
right, and that's the thing. There's a tool with access on that survey that lets you say, hey, I am not an expert, but I know if he does flush his toilet twice, that,
It's a problem.
yeah, my neighbor's backed up.
Well, I don't mean to belabor the point, but I just wanted to be sure everybody out here, because They come to us, the citizens coming to us as their elected official to say what's going on here, and I just want to be able to point them to the right. Thank you, I appreciate it.
The meeting is Thursday at 2:30.
Yeah, anxious meeting with Sam.
And let me
And where's
stress out,
that at? If you, how do we get on that
So-
email list?
I sent Susanna just now while we were sitting here, I sent a link to the Sabine and the Natchez Flood Planning Group websites. They'll be posted there. We also post publicly at all the Coast County courthouses for the notice. You can access, I can put everyone on a distribution list. It's fine. We've got a public distribution list for that. It's a Teams meeting. You do not have to be there in person. Although our Orange County guest team came to come visit for a break from Orange County. Go sit in our air conditioning. But,
lights.
it's all on there. I think we're meeting August, September, and October consecutively. We had some spaced out, but Rolando's on a deadline, so we'll be meeting more frequently. And you can come and go as you please, and you can participate in it. So if you have questions during that meeting, you're more than welcome to put them in the chat. and stuff.
And I'm on the Sabine Regional Flood Planning Group, and, we just met last week, so we won't meet for a little bit longer. But we take input from all folks, and I will tell you, because you gotta lead by example. So I've been to the map. It's really easy to click on the map, put your problems in, and I covered it up as much as I can. And so, I encourage all y'all to go on there, because the more that we input, better chance we are to get something approved. And we are competing with those northern counties that are moving water to us. But we need to be out there and be out in front of it.
And for most purposes, you need to be more vocal because you are competing against more urban areas that have a greater cost impact. So make sure you're loud and proud.
She alluded.
I'll forward the email to everyone that
Thank you.
Okay.
Just wanted y'all, thank Commissioner Harris, SRA, obviously for separate. So I've got a couple of years to go before the plan's done, so participate as y'all are able to.
Drop your pins.
Mr. Erickson, just one more thing. It also includes the Trinity River Basin.
Okay.
Chambers, Polk, Liberty, it includes it as well as part of Hardin.
And we have a vacancy on the Natchez Flood Planning Group for the agricultural side. If anyone would like to submit their application.
Once you let us know that, we may have some.
So it is listed on, it's posted at the courthouse, posted on the website as well, so I will share it.
Thank you.
There's one question.
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble here, but I'm calling up the QR code, and I'm still a little confused of what I'm supposed to do as far as dropping. I looked at our particular area, got some familiar stuff in it.
We'll get somebody hooked up with you that can help you with that.
And if you're on a phone, I would say it's probably very difficult on a phone. You probably need to do it on a computer. But yeah, I think you need to get someone to help you out. I did mine on a computer on a big screen, so I could see everything.
Yeah, to me, what I'm I'm looking for what is the plan? And for any of my needs, potential needs in that plan. Got to do something.
Yeah, you need to look to see what projects are included and figure out if they affect you. And the whole point of the map is to drop a pin, say there's a flooding issue here, not to solve it, but just to let them know there's a flooding issue there. We need to look at this and figure out what we need to do to alleviate this. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Okay, real quick, guys, I know it's warm in here. We've got an air conditioning unit out in this whole back part of the building. As you leave, you'll see we've got a portable unit there that we're about to open back up. If you're hot, we've got some portable hand fans in the back. Just raise your hand and we'll get a fan to you. All
I
right.
was trying to cover the minutes.
And I thought it was just
It's
me.
fine.
It's your neighbor. Well, sure.
He's been flushing out a lot of hot air. Put that down a little bit.
Buttercup, let's go.
All right. Now we'll move on to agenda item number 7, Transportation and Environmental Resource Division. Approval of resolution authorizing submission of the application for funding for the fiscal year 2026, 2027 Regional Solid Waste Grants Program by Dr. Bob Dickinson.
Thank you, Commissioner. On our white SETRPC letterhead, basically what we're asking for today is the approval of a resolution authorizing us to submit an application for funding to continue for 2026 and 2027 our a regional solid waste grant program. That's basically the program we receive every 2 years after every legislative session to continue our regional solid waste planning efforts. And basically what we do with those funds in our region, the priority of our regional solid waste advisory committee has been to have our one household hazardous waste scrap tar collection event a year. So every 2 years after the legislature meets, we have to file this grant application so we can continue the regional solid waste grant program and more importantly, to receive that funding. So we just have the second sheet as a resolution that just states that by the executive committee adopting this resolution, that it authorizes us to file this grant application for funding to continue this regional solid waste grant program.
Make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Got the motion in a second?
Second.
Oh, I think you're fourth, Willie. I think you're fourth. We're good. All right, got a motion in a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Bob. That will move to agenda item number 8, Community Service Division approval of the 2026 Community Services Block Grant, Community Action Plan, and Budget. Action item to do by Florence Garcia.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everybody. You will find in your packet on the blue piece of paper, the Community Action Plan, CAP for short. The Community Action Plan serves as a roadmap for Community Services Division, specifically the SETRPC grant, as a roadmap to help individuals and families that we serve in the community achieve self-sufficiency. The CAP helps us to identify the gaps in services and determine ways to enhance the areas that need attention. So because of uncertainty with our funding for 2026, we had to go in and make adjustments to our future planning. So if you want to refer to page 4, 5, and 7, excuse me, you can see the reductions in pink. It's supposed to be red, but it turns. You can see those reductions. We had to do a reduction by 30%. Again, this is just planning ahead on our funding. It's a little shaky, so we want to make sure that we don't overstep and we can meet expectations for 2026. So those are the planning for the CAP. And also the blue is also attached is the projected 2026 budget. We are operating at the total allocated amount for 2025, which is $517,279 for CSBG. So we're just submitting that same budget. Hopefully we get the same amount for 2026. And so we're going off that same budget. It could of course be reduced or hopefully it could be increased, but we just want to make sure that we're operating within guidelines. The advisory council, the CSBG advisory council and CSD team worked on this CAP and on the budget, and we reviewed it and we determined that we were working at full capacity with the required funding within the budget given for 2025. So again, we need to make some adjustments for 2026. So CSBG advisory council approved the CAP and the budget. So now we are respectfully asking executive to review minutes.
Have a motion.
Second.
A motion in a second. Conversation. All in favor? Any opposed? Yeah, we'll go to Community Services Block Grant Strategic Plan Year 1. Yeah.
Thank you. Following that, you'll find on the pink sheet is the Community Services Block Grant Strategic Plan Year 1. If you guys remember, y'all saw a lot of me in last year in 2024. I had the community needs assessment, the strategic plan. So I made a lot of booklets for you guys. If you lost it, we have a lot more that I could give you if you want to reference to them. But I have 2 copies. And so every year we have to follow up because you just don't create a plan and then you abandon it. You have to obviously come back, circle back around and make sure that you're doing what you said you were going to do. So following up on our strategic plan, Community Service Block Grant actually wants us to go back and review our roadmap in the strategic plan. So with our group, we had a lot of strategic planning groups and we had a lot of conversations with our partners. So we sat together and then we assessed what we're doing on the strategic plan to determine if we were following the roadmap and strategic plan. I didn't give you guys a strategic plan again because we had a lot made, but I want to bombarded with everything. But anyway, attached is year one. If you look at it, this strategic plan update, the output was what we achieved and what we're doing, and then the actual performance. So the output is what we were intending to do, and the actual performance is what we did. I'm not going to read this verbatim. You guys can review it on your own time, but I just wanted to let you know that we are on the right path with what we're doing in CSBG and in CSC. Every single strategic issue that we had, which there were 5 of them, everything we've had a remedy for. The only thing that we probably didn't have a remedy for was transportation, but we are sitting on a steering committee for transportation. So we're doing a little bit. We obviously, that's a community need. We obviously can't do anything. We can't go out and build roads ourselves. If not, we would. But so it's a community need. So all we can do is sit on steering committees and make sure that we advocate for the low income. All right, and that's all I got. Any questions? All
Thank you. Thank you.
right, thank you so much.
All right, with that, we'll move on to agenda item number 9, Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Division. Approval of resolution to retain Patrick Grimes as Regional Emergency Alerting Network and Interoperability Planning Consultant. It's Kayla Mann.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We have a couple items today. The first one is the Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Division is seeking approval to continue our contract with Patrick Grimes, who is our Southeast Texas Alerting Network consultant and our interop consultant. He helps us with like CAFM entries and things like that. He has been working on this grant for the past few years, and it continues. This grant's performance period goes through August 31st of 2026. So the Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Division is just seeking continued to move forward and continue this contract with Mr. Patrick Grimes.
Okay, thank you. Got a motion, let's take it. Did you? Second, Mr. French. You got a motion and a second? All those in favor? Next will be approval of a resolution to retain retired Chief Stephen Curran as the statewide emergency radio infrastructure power grant planning consultant.
So we are seeking approval to have Chief Stephen Curran, who has served as the director of the Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Division from 2020 until May of 2025, as the statewide emergency radio infrastructure tower grant. It's called SERI. It's through the Office of the Governor. He is a regional subject matter expert on not only these tower projects and has been, this is the 3rd one that the Planning Commission has got, but he's a subject matter expert on the Southeast Texas Regional Radio System. And so we are looking to enter a contract with him to continue as a consultant on this grant. This grant's performance period ends 8/31 of 2026. The resolution that outlines the attachment A, which is the statement of work and deliverables, are attached along with the resolution outlining what we're just about this.
Okay. Do I have a motion? A motion by Commissioner Rockford, second, Mr. Philip Dillon. All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And we'll move on to the approval of resolution authorizing, maybe there needs to be a resolution, but anyway, you watch the special sessions, you know that there needs to be a resolution. But anyway, approval of a resolution authorizing the application of the Department of Homeland Security fiscal year 2025 Port Security Grant Program, FMW-2025, SPU-50508, not to exceed the amount of $598,973. Ms. Sanders.
Thank you so much. We are excited to say that port security grant applications finally opened up with a very short window for our application. But we were able to submit, or we're seeking approval to submit our ongoing Southeast Texas Alerting Network program that we do through the Port Security Grant Program. The application was for $598,973. 75% is federal funds with a 25% match, which is the requirement for the grant program. This is to maintain the Southeast Texas Alerting Network which is in all 4 of our counties, and an excellent tool that we use to notify all the citizens of Southeast Texas and businesses and anything if there's a disaster, small or large. This is a great tool that we have, and we have an excellent system set up with our partnership with local industrial facilities. So we are seeking approval to submit this application for the FY 2025 Port Security Grant Program.
Thank you. There's a motion by Mayor Branch and a second by Councilman Robinson. Any conversation? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes. We'll move to agenda item number 10. Thank you, Ms. Arundel. Future calendar, Ms. Dan Carver.
On September 1st, our offices will be closed and observed Labor Day. And then, there's a flyer behind the calendar regarding the 7th annual 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance, which will be held at the Rockland A Cafe, on the 11th, from 11:30 to 1:30. And Janet Fox is going to give a little more information on that. And is our director of the RSVP.
Yes, Janet Faust here, Director of RSVP. So this is like she said, our 7th annual 9/11 Day of Service. This is for those who do held at the Rockland A Cafe. It starts at 11:30 Thursday, September 11th. This is a free lunch that Butch Artson, owner of Rockland A, provides for veterans, military, and first responders, active or retired. And we will have the Southeast Texas Veteran Service Group there to do a 12-gun salute. And Seth Wells with the Rice Center is going to be our MC, along with Ms. Cheryl Williams with the American Legion as our keynote speaker. So we're just asking that everyone please help us support the event. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's another flyer behind that is regarding the Beaumont stand down. It has been moved, the date's been moved to October 3rd from 9 to 1. That'll be in the Beaumont Civic Center. Behind that is clipped a few flyers. This regarding community events. If y'all are interested in any of this, they're for you to look over. Thank you. Our next executive committee meeting will be September 17th.
Thank you. That will go on to agenda item number 11. And under other old and unfinished business, and we'll start out with Tell Me Something Good. And we'll turn it over to Ms. Shannon Parker.
We've got a lot of good that's going on. The first item, Sarah, do you want to come back up to cover the partnership with the local vet in need?
How can I speak?
Welcome back.
Thank you. So, because you guys know that we are a semi-community action agency, and so partnerships in the community are very important, and we just want to highlight the importance of the Community Services Division and any community action agency across the state of Texas. So, we had an individual last month that was cycling from New Orleans, Louisiana, back to Oklahoma. He had gone down to New Orleans for work. He finished his project and then he couldn't find a ride back home. It just so happened that he was a veteran and he had a service dog. He secured a train ticket with Amtrak, but then when he showed up to the platform, they would not let him on board because of his service dog. So he was unfortunately unable to board the train, so he was not about to abandon his service dog. So he had no choice but to get on a bicycle, and him and his service dog were cycling back to Oklahoma. He stopped in Lumberton and then he reached out to a church. The church paid for a night at the hotel because he was exhausted, obviously. And then the church reached out to us if we could provide any additional supports. So we got on our list and we reached out to anybody that we could and see if anybody could provide services. Rise stepped in. They were able to secure a second night at the hotel. And then Community Services Division here at the agencies was able to provide him with a $200 gift card so he could go to Walmart and get supplies, camping equipment for himself, and of course, some dog food. So again, this is the importance of how we all come together, collaborate, and build a good partnership so we could help those in need. We also were able to contact Amtrak and kind of, gripe at them a little bit, or maybe if they could be a little bit more flexible with their policies, because that was a service dog. So again, that was a great thing that we did, and we all came together and we provided services to him, and he was very, very grateful. I had a picture of him, but I don't know what I did. But he said, anybody that touched any part of this, may God bless.
Great, thank you. Next up, Bob. Quick, real quick. Bob has another event coming up.
Average today.
We're so excited to announce that, the last 2 years, we put in some new requirements on what we would allow people to bring our household hazardous waste scrap to our collection event. Our 2 events for 25 and 26, we way underspent our money. So there's a flyer at the back of your packet, and basically on Saturday, August the 30th at Ford Park located at 5115 I-10 South in the parking lot. We're going to have a free scrap tire collection event. Anybody within the 4-county region is eligible to bring tires. We're going to take ATV, lawnmower, car and truck tires on or off the rim under 22 inches in diameter. So this is open to the public from 8 to 1, and so no business.
County commissioners aren't businesses, are they? No, we're good.
Now, we've been,
I'm just checking. They're not business.
Commissioner, James and I, we have reached out to the commissioners. We asked you if y'all had tires several of your.
We didn't for a while, trust me.
We got some. Yeah.
We got yours.
All right,
We got
good deal.
yours over on Brown Bunch Road. So anyway, we're having this, and Shanna said she was gonna provide me a couple of people to help move those tires.
I volunteered to help you move tires, but I was not good enough. Get Jennifer and Kim on board. We got plenty of boots.
We hope we get a fair turnout. I know it's a holiday weekend, but if we don't spend our money by the end of the state fiscal year, August 30th, and they don't want any money back, so this is a worthy thing for gonna do. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Bob.
Thanks, sir.
Next item, you should have a bag. I think everybody got one at their place. I ran into, if you don't know Michelle Brewer, then you don't know the love of the heart. Michelle Brewer, who heads up the Jefferson County Long-Term Recovery Group, she provided this information with storm season in full force. What you got in here is a plastic storage bag. There's also a checklist in there that contains some emergency information. It's specifically for Jefferson County, but you can use it as you will. There's an emergency checklist for things you need to do if you're going to evacuate, and preparation list for a disaster supply kit. There's also a little card in there that has more QR codes on it. This is something that Michelle has worked on. If you go in and scan that QR code, there is an application that's embedded within this, and will also help you with resources. God forbid you have any type of flooding at your house, that will walk you through that process, checklists for how to prepare for that recovery process. A lot of us learned the very, very hard way, and they have taken all that information, put this in this app, and it'll take you step by step on how you can personally recover, and not necessarily just from a hurricane, but for any type of disaster. So if you need any more of these, we've got more, and if your organization needs some, we'll be happy to get you in touch with Michelle to get some more of these.
I want to specifically say, if you haven't been exposed to that organization, hadn't had any need to call them, that I had a constituent call that had fallen through the cracks everywhere else, wasn't eligible for anything. Needed about $16,000, I think it was. That was the estimate he got of floor repairs. And, I reached out to them, said, can you take a look and see if you guys can help? And I mean, this was a person on disability. I mean, just every other avenue had been exhausted, and they were able to go in and help that individual. And it didn't happen overnight, but it happened. And now that person is back in their home, able to stay self-sufficient. So when they fall through everything else, this is a good place, and they will move mountains to try to help you out.
Absolutely. The next item, just a quick update on our White House program. I saw Pam in the back. If you'll wave, Pam. Pam heads that program
That's
up.
what her hand looks like now. So
Hey, okay, if you'll stand up, Pam. This is Pam Lewis, y'all. Pam oversees our lighthouse program. We got last year $100,000 from ExxonMobil to start a pilot project in the Charlton Pollard area of Beaumont. That lighthouse program is a weatherization program. They go in, weatherize the house that are in some of these critical areas around refineries. With that money, we've currently got 3 homes under contract. We've got 2 in the pipe. So it looks like we're going to be able to weatherize 5 houses within that area based on this money that we got from ExxonMobil. So thank you, Pam, for all your work with that. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, it's
Come on.
not, it's not.
Yeah.
Sean will make a question.
No, she is not shy.
Not sure.
I've been managing this party for 20 years now, and we've always worked in Port Arthur. But we got money, a grant from ExxonMobil to do some houses in Charlton Pond. But I just wanted to say something about the weatherization part. What we actually do is we're working to increase the energy efficiency of these homes. So we go in and we do an evaluation. We actually replace windows, doors, storm doors, HVAC units with high energy efficient models, and we insulate attics. So we can actually spend up to $25,000 per house. So it's not just a little weather stripping, and so it's a great program. So if you know anybody in the Charlton Pollard area, come and call me. I think we've used the money for this year. Maybe we'll get some more next year.
Yeah, we keep an ongoing list. As Pam said, the primary program was run in Port Arthur through a SEP, through refinery funds. We're starting to see our industry around here has gotten so efficient. They're having very, very few fines. So when something like this comes up, specifically, if we can work with an individual refinery that has some money to give out, we'll take it. Thanks, Pam, for all you do. I've got 2 more quick items and then we'll get y'all out of here. We've got 4 new employees that started this week. I think they're all here from disaster recovery. We've got Sharon Williams.
Yeah, that did stand up.
Hello, everyone. And I'll probably mess his name up, so I'm going to try my best. Matua Chaudhry. Is that right? All right. And then in transportation environmental, we've got Casey Wynn in the back and Misty Bell. Just kind of the other way. All right. And the last item for me personally, and for a lot of people in this agency, if I can get a drum roll, please. All right, we finally settled our cybersecurity issue. We got payment from Treasury and we made our final payment on the Orange Tower to Motorola. So we are done. Good effort. We're there.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I only have one item. It seems we're on tap. If you get a new text dot, the district engineer. So look forward to meeting whoever that next person is, and maybe we can work together. Maybe. With that, that's all we have.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
I want to wish Mayor Darby a happy birthday.
That's one of my 50s.
Well, yeah.
At least you're still there.
I wish. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move.
Second?
Second.
Right? So, and everybody's in favor? Ah.
It's